Breaking news. Chargers fans. The LA Chargers may have just found a hidden gem in their backfield, one that nobody is talking about, but could end up shocking the entire NFL this season. Stay tuned, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change the way you look at the Chargers offense. All right, let's dive in. The Chargers have a sleeper running back quietly climbing the depth chart, and he's someone fans need to start paying serious attention to. With Najee Harris sidelined and his return uncertain, this opens the door for a fresh name to step up, and the buzz around Hassan Haskins is getting louder. But before we jump deeper into this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit that bell icon so you never miss breaking Chargers news. Now, let's get into it. Hassan Haskins is a player Jim Harbaugh has trusted for years, dating all the way back to his Michigan days. Whenever his team needed a crucial run, Haskins was the guy who delivered, tough, fearless, and built for the big moments. What makes this story even more exciting is his background. Believe it or not, Haskins actually started as a linebacker before fully embracing the running back role. That defensive mindset shows every time he touches the ball. He runs angry, he runs strong, and defenders feel it. After redshirting early in his college career and cutting his teeth on special teams, Hassan Haskins slowly carved out his role at Michigan. By 2019, he was already flashing glimpses of what was coming. Then, in 2020, his workload began to grow, and by 2021, his senior season, he completely erupted. That year, Haskins rushed for over 1,300 yards and 20 touchdowns, setting a single-season record. And who could forget his legendary performance against Ohio State? He torched the Buckeyes for 169 yards and 5 touchdowns, a game that instantly cemented his place in Michigan football history. But what really makes him stand out isn't just the numbers. It's the reliability. Across 443 carries in his college career, he never fumbled once. That's the kind of toughness and consistency coaches dream of. No surprise, he was named first team All-Big Ten in 2021. When draft day came, the Tennessee Titans took a chance on him in the 4th round. Backing up Derrick Henry meant limited touches, but it gave Haskins an NFL education few running backs get. Unfortunately, his time in Tennessee was cut short after landing on injured reserve in 2023, and the Titans moved on. That's when the Chargers made their move. In 2024, Haskins appeared in all 17 games. He wasn't a workhorse yet, but he showed flashes, 34 carries, a kick return, and the kind of grit that keeps coaches coming back for more. And now, with Najee Harris sidelined and Amarian Hampton still finding his footing, Haskins is suddenly climbing the depth chart. It's shaping up to be something special, a potential two-headed monster in the Chargers' backfield, and Haskins might just be the surprise piece no one saw coming. Right now, the Chargers are in a tricky spot. Relying heavily on a rookie running back might sound exciting, but let's be honest, that's a gamble. You need that extra veteran presence in the backfield, someone dependable who can steady the offense when the pressure rises. And that's exactly where Hassan Haskins comes in. He's the name sitting deeper on the depth chart that many fans overlook, but he could turn out to be the perfect hidden piece. Think about it. While everyone's eyes are glued to Amarian Hampton, Haskins is quietly waiting for his shot. And when he gets it, he brings a toughness this offense will need. And it's not just about the running backs. Take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The offensive line, for example, isn't as bad as some might think. You've got Pipkins holding down the right tackle spot, Zion Johnson continuing to develop, and overall, this unit is far from a liability. It's not elite, but it's solid, and sometimes, that's all you need to open lanes for backs like Haskins. Sure, losing a star player always hurts. The Lions went through something similar when their veteran center retired right before the season. Suddenly, depth becomes thin, and the margin for error shrinks. But here's the thing, football doesn't wait. You can't stall, you can't pause, you just adjust. The players you have must step up, fill the gaps, and rise to the moment. That's exactly the kind of situation the Chargers find themselves in right now. And hidden in that situation could be Hassan Haskins' golden opportunity. One storyline that deserves more attention is Keenan Allen's contract. When the initial reports dropped, It looked like a one-year, $8.5 million deal. But digging deeper, the actual structure tells a different story. His 2025 cap hit is only around $5 million, with $2 million guaranteed, and the rest tied to incentives. That's a textbook example of smart roster management. General Manager Joe Hortiz isn't overspending, and he's not handcuffing the team with bloated contracts. Instead, he's building around value, balancing veterans like Allen with a wave of younger receivers still on rookie deals. Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris, Kendra Lambert-Smith, and Quinton Johnston. It's a calculated approach that keeps flexibility while keeping weapons on the field. But it's not all smooth sailing. One of the setbacks heading into camp was the offensive line shuffle. The plan was to line up Mekhi Becton and Joe Alt side by side on the right, creating a towering wall of protection. That vision had fans excited. Instead, injuries forced adjustments. Joe Alt is now sliding over to left tackle, which wasn't the original blueprint. The silver lining? Mekhi Becton is on track to be ready for Week 1. If he stays healthy, pairing him with Alt, even if it's not in the exact spots originally imagined, still gives the Chargers an intimidating front. It might not be the picture-perfect setup coaches dreamed of, but it's far from a disaster. For a brief moment, it looked like disaster was brewing on the Chargers' offensive line. The left tackle spot was unsettled, the right guard situation looked shaky, and Joe Alt was being forced into a role shift. Suddenly, 3 different players were either out of position or unavailable, and fans couldn't help but wonder, what is happening here? But the panic didn't last long. Joe Alt may have to adjust, but this is a player with all-pro potential. He's going to be just fine anchoring the line. And with Mekhi Becton returning, stability is quickly being restored. What felt like a crisis is turning into an adjustment, not a collapse. Then there's Keenan Allen. His return sparked plenty of debate. At first, the move seemed questionable, especially when Quinton Johnston failed to develop the way many hoped. Some argued Allen wasn't needed. Others believed his experience and consistency were irreplaceable. But in the end, bringing him back looks like the right call. He's still a reliable target, still a leader in the locker room, and still capable of making the big plays when it matters most. And it's not just the veterans making noise. Social media lit up recently with clips of Trey Lance slinging the football in practice. Some of those throws? Flat out ridiculous. The kind that instantly catch the eye and make you wonder if a quarterback competition might be brewing behind the scenes. One of the most encouraging signs for this Chargers team is the depth developing behind the starters. At quarterback, the backups have shown real flashes in camp, giving this team insurance and flexibility at one of the most critical positions in football. That kind of security is something every contender needs, and the Chargers seem to have it. In the trenches, the physicality has been impossible to ignore. Watching the big men up front battle, you're reminded just how brutal the game truly is. For most people, taking a single hit at that level would end the day instantly. But for these players, it's all part of the job, a job that requires toughness, discipline, and an unshakable will. With the roster beginning to take shape, the Chargers find themselves in a fascinating position. The injuries, the roster shuffling, the questions at running back, all of it has created a storyline filled with uncertainty. But at the same time, there's a growing sense of opportunity. Hassan Haskins rising up the depth chart, Keenan Allen proving he's still a factor, the offensive line slowly stabilizing, and quarterbacks showing promise. It all points to a team that refuses to back down. The road ahead won't be easy. But if the Chargers embrace this moment, they may just turn potential weaknesses into the very strengths that define their season.